And so here comes the fans only question. What learning have you had? And I'm sure there's a bunch of them, but what learning have you had as a result of a tremendous or painful mistake?
There's a big one, and I think I'm still figuring it out. But
Okay.
I think at least I've acknowledged it, and I can at least go into the conversations with it's assumption.
Oh, okay.
So assumption, and it's when you've done things and you've seen the power and the amazing results of things, you get excited. And you
Okay.
get excited because it's just like you eat something for the first time and it's like, oh my gosh, this is like the best thing I've ever eaten. I want to share it with everybody. I want to share everybody. You need to try it. You need to try it. You need to try it because you want them to share in, your excitement. And there's just going to be people that just don't like that food or don't, or they had a bad experience or something, you know what I'm saying? Like there's things that have happened that would make them not feel exactly what you feel, even though, it may be this amazing chocolate something, they don't like chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
So so for me, the assumption is when things light a fire in me and things are working and they're working here, I automatically just want to share and tell everybody about it because, oh my gosh, this will make your life so much better. And what I had to realize through that, and I still am figuring it out, is I can't dictate
Mm.
what's going to work for everybody else. As much as I would love to make things work for somebody because they worked for me or there was somebody else that had success with it. For me, and it's still, I get in a room and I get so excited and I'm talking about things to the point to where it's like I believe in it with in my core. And there's still going to be people that, based on their experience, based on some things that they've had to overcome, their history, their background, just a bad interaction with a person will change the way they perceive what I'm saying. And it's small because you're like, yeah, you just don't assume. Just don't assume that people, and you're right. But when you have a lot of passion and a lot of excitement about something, and part of your role is to help convey that and to communicate it internally and externally, you're going to get people. And I see it on social media is probably just one example, but there's times where, I'm a very big, I like to make comments and I like to contribute, to elevate people, but also if I have something that speaks to my heart, I want to share it. And there's been times where I'll say something and someone else will come in and they're like, yeah, but da 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 da, or yeah, and I've realized and I've grown and evolved to where my first response is yes, you're right, and this is why that makes sense, and here's where I'm coming, so it's like my brain has slowly, now again, I say that because like that's a win, but that doesn't happen every time. Because
Right.
what I've realized is for me, and it's most people, it's when someone comes in and contradicts or doesn't agree with you or gives you attacks, throws some stones, resists, all that, our first response, and it's default, is to be
Yep.
defensive or to come up with the solutions that will help them see.
Mhm.
Give them the examples that will help them get in your space.
Mm.
And that's just that's human nature. And what I've realized is there's just people that are just not going to work in my space.
Yep.
And I don't need to take it personally. I don't need to take it as I'm a bad person or I'm not doing my job. And again, I say that, and there's people that didn't work in my space 4 or 5 years ago, didn't work in my space 2 or 3 years ago, and now I'm sitting in an alignment meeting with them, and I see light bulbs going off, and I see
Mm.
aha moments, and I see people that are making connections that maybe before they had a wall. They just didn't, they were not there. and I
Not ready.
and I didn't. I had to learn to not take those things personal, and
Mm.
realize that. And I'm saying this to everyone out there that practices lean, that promotes lean, that coaches lean, that they believe in lean. It is not your job to sell. It is not your job to defend. It is not.
Mm.
So any interaction you have, any conversation you have, if you feel you're trying to sell lean and what it does, or you're trying to defend it, you're not in the right space.
Mm. That's powerful. A lot of people need to. A lot of people are gonna get a lot out of that. A whole lot of people. Now, so you touched on assumptions and taking rejection or pushback, defensiveness personally. How has that manifested in your personal life?
I don't have much of a personal life, but let's just start there. I got a lot going on, and sometimes I think that again, I'm a strong presence. It is what it is. I believe in the things that I believe in, and I feel that way. And the most of the time I get, again, professionally, I'm a lot to deal with and a lot to handle, and that's okay. And I realize that, and so I have two amazing little girls, a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old, and I think they're kind of my petri dish a little bit. I share a lot. I share stuff about them on, so on LinkedIn sometimes, and just sometimes I'm having conversations with them. I live in this space a lot of times, and then I have to have these conversations with, them, and the knowledge and the feedback and the things I get from them. They humble me a lot. I feel like I've got the answers, and I'm going, and then I have a conversation, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. So I've got to like take a step back and realize that, they are the future generation, and they have been exposed to construction since they were little. And they've got pictures of them in their hard hats, and they've been, they've been able to, walk the sites, and they've been able to, to be on the buck hoist, and just things where they've experienced it. To see, you still ask them what I do, they probably couldn't tell you. They're like, yeah, well, she doesn't build. She does, because this is my little one. When she was little, because we were talking about construction and careers in construction, and she was, I want to work, I want to work in construction. And I said, oh, so you want to do what I do? No, Mama, I want to carry a hammer.
Nice.
And she was little, but it was
Yep.
like, yeah, you do that, but there's something different. And it was just but they've just been exposed to a lot of, just different things within the construction industry, whatever they decide to do. But it's just been cool having those conversations, and having kind of taking yourself out of what you do, every day,
Yeah.
and being able to, and just to kind of vet it through some different eyes. And
Yep.
they are really good. Again, transparency, to telling you what's real. And I think, to me, the value of that has helped me sometimes realize, like, oh, I think I have the answers. Yeah, I'm so far from that.